and we're going to give that a contact name, which is Mr. Toy Boy. And then just going to key in the address details from the manual. Okay, so that's all the details entered. I can also write information about this lead down here, such as what they may be interested in, how we can perhaps sell to them, that sort of thing. When I'm happy with that, I can click Save and Close. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is create a new prospect. So the next option down on the menu, I'll launch the new prospect option. The name of this prospect is going to be Toy Prospect UK Limited. And the name of that, the contact name, is just Mr. Toy Prospect. Okay, I can put a postal code in here on this front screen if required. If I want to, I don't have to. I'll key that in. Okay, and then the next thing we've got is our business type and class descriptions. I'll just explain quickly what this basically governs, these last two fields, because they are quite an important part of the software and how the customers and everything are created. So the options that we've got in here, and this is hard-coded options, these two, are whether we have this customer is going to be a business customer or a consumer customer. Now, based on what we select in there, and based on the country that we've keyed in at the beginning, it goes through to make up which template we're going to use to create this customer record. So if I double click on that template at the moment, we'll see that it's got the business template for United Kingdom, which is because I selected business and I selected United Kingdom. Now the templates basically contain all of the default information that's going to go onto my new customer records. Now it's not as important if I'm creating customers manually through here, but if for instance we've got the integrated e-commerce up and running and customers are creating their own records on web, so they're creating their own accounts, we need to make sure that if they're a UK customer and they're a business, that they get the right settings, and if they're French and they're a business or a consumer, they also get the right settings. So these are things that we can control by amending the templates. Okay, so if I just change this for a second to be France, and then double click on that template, I'll now see that my country is France. It's still a business one, so it's used the default business template, and basically my currency's changed, my tax code's changed, because if they're a business in France they get EC sales tax code. So basically we can configure the default settings that will go on here. Now some things you may not want to default, you don't have to have these defaulting. We can use the templates to put as much or as little detail onto the customer record as required. We'll actually look at amending the customer templates and where the customer templates sit when we go through the customer module, but I just thought I'd touch on these things now so that you're not sort of wondering why you have to fill these in and what effect changing these will have on the system. Okay, so for our prospect, they are just going to be a UK prospect, so I'm going to leave it as United Kingdom, and it also says that it's a business prospect, so I'm going to leave that as business. Okay, so if I click next, you'll see that these are all the things that have come in off my template from just populated on the screen. Now if we didn't have the templates, we'd of course have to go through and set a lot of these things up manually. So having the templates there actually saves us quite a lot of work. Okay, so I'm just going to key in the address details. Okay, so now I'm going to click the finish button. Now I've got all my details in. And that will actually then give us our prospect record with all the details on, etc. So now if I want to, I can continue putting some information against here, against my prospect. And once I've finished doing my prospect, I can click Save and Close to return me back to the main screen. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is use our import manager to bring in some records from an Excel file, importing some records. So although we're going to be importing into the CRM module, because we're going to import some leads and some prospects, we have to go into the System Manager option to kick off the import. So within System Manager, we've got under Tools the Import option. So if I double click that, it will run our import wizard. Okay, so I'll click next on that. Now what it's asking us in here is, where do we want to import from? Well, I want to import from CRM, or into CRM even, and then it's saying, what do you want to import, contacts, leads or prospects? Now we actually want to import a lead file, so we can tick that one. But before we import any files, I really need to have a look at my import file and see if it's in the right format for importing, because we do have to make sure it has the correct headings, etc. on it. So basically, if I create a template through here, this will launch an Excel file with a blank template, basically showing me all of the headers that I need to have in my file. Okay, so these are all the headers that I can have in the file. These are all the columns. So we've got quite a few in there that we can use to import the data. And there's some useful notes here for each import file. It's quite useful to read if you're new to importing into Interprise. Okay, so what I now need to do is find the import file for my leads. So if I go back to my desktop, back to my self-study workshop, into my folder number 4, which is my import files, and within there I will have a CRM lead import. Now you'll notice on the CRM lead import file that it's got in brackets incorrect headings. Now this is because this is the only file in all of these which I haven't actually predefined the headings and give you the correct headings. And it's just basically, I've done that to show so that I can go through and show you what you may need to do when you get an import file from another location.